Hey, I'm Ethan.
And I'm Tiffany.
And we're the Wootons.
Overall, my pregnancy was pretty normal. Just a regular checkups. In August, I went for a checkup and my blood pressure was getting high, so we had to start monitoring it. We went in and out of the hospital, me staying and just them monitoring my blood pressure. And then on August 22nd, or actually August 21st, that night, they started preparing to induce me for labor. And then the 22nd, we had Ruthie.
And we stayed in hospital for 10
nights.
10 nights prior to that because your blood pressure was so high.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point where they were worried about your health, so they decided they were going to go ahead and induce you into labor. And we were trying to get to 8 months with Ruthie. We wanted her to be at least 8 months. That way her lungs could be developed when she was born. They came in that morning because I was at the fire department that night, and I left shift and went back to the hospital because she had said that they were going to induce her into labor. So the next morning, that's what had happened. They induced her into labor. Everything was going fine. She had an epidural, and we were going to have a baby. We were excited, and all was well. And they were monitoring the baby's heart rate. They were monitoring Ruthie's heart rate to make sure everything was good with Ruthie. And they began to see some dips in her heart rate, and they were a little worried because they were in conjunction with her contractions. So by grace, the nurse said, I want to check, just want to check. And she checked Tiffany. She said, I feel a cord. And just from the field that I work in, I knew what that meant. And I love the nurse to death, and I won't never forget her as long as I live. She said, I'm gonna ride right here, and we're going to the OR. And we didn't do the traditional thing. We didn't have all our families matter. That was gonna be mine and Tiffany's time, and we were gonna have a baby, and then we were gonna enjoy that together, and then we were gonna bring the families in just so we could have that time and enjoy it. And at that point, it was time to go to the OR. There was no telling nobody anything. Everything was unhooked. We snatched everything out of walls, and we went on the elevator.
And they wheeled me to the OR.
Yep. So at Wooton, you go down one floor, you go in a hallway, you turn left, and you're going into the OR. And I had been by her bedside as we went down the whole time, and then there's a red line before you go in the OR, and that's the point where everybody has to stop. That's not going into the OR. That's not sterile. So at that red line, I stopped, and they kept going, and I came to the realization that my whole world just went around that corner, and I think that was the most alone feeling I've ever had in my life, was right then. It just felt lost and helpless, and it was just a waiting game then. I could tell by the look in the doctor's eyes and by the nurse that things were not like as they should be. I waited. I went back to the waiting room, actually. That's where all our family was at. And I told them what was going on. I said, look, we had an emergency C-section. It was pretty much just a waiting game. I just walked holes in the floor, and a lot of prayers were said. My brother called me. He said, I'm at the hospital. Where y'all at? I said, well, I'll come out front and meet you. And he had come through the doors, and we met there by the elevator, and we were just talking like brothers do. And I turned around, and they were pushing Ruthie down the hall to go back upstairs to the B4, and and she was really blue, and they were bagging her. So I knew she wasn't breathing, and I really wasn't even sure that she was alive at that point. I just lost it. That was the one time that I just lost it. I broke down right there, and I had a minute, and got myself gathered back together, and the nurse, she said, look, she said, we did one round of CPR. We do have a pulse. She's just not breathing on her own as she should be. Her rate was slow. So, okay, she is alive. It's a lot to be thankful for. I went back upstairs with them. They allowed me to go back there and just stand to the side. The doctor told me, we're going to put in a central line. We're going to do everything that we need to do to stabilize her, and we're going to fly her to Greenville. I said, okay. And he said, what do you want to do about telling Tiffany? I said, well, when she gets awake enough, the anesthesia wears off enough that I can talk to her. I said, I would like to be the one that tells her. So I went downstairs, and she was beginning to wake up at that point. She was still pretty groggy. I really couldn't think of what I was going to tell her other than I said, Ruthie's alive. I said, but she's not doing good. I said, and she's like her daddy. She likes helicopters, so she's fixing to fly to Greenville. And she looked at me like puzzled, like, what are you talking about? I said, Ruthie's not doing good. I said, she's going to fly to Greenville. I said, and they're going to move you to Greenville by ground as soon as you can get where you can move, where they can transport you. So, they were moving Tiffany back upstairs to the OB floor. We all went upstairs. They put Tiffany in a room. I went back in with Ruthie. By that time, the helicopter had landed. They allowed me to go back where they were getting Ruthie ready. They had her on a ventilator. At that point, she was starting to try to breathe over the ventilator, which was a great sign. Flight crew came in. A lot of great people, and I've seen a lot of great people in the healthcare field, but I will never forget the flight crew that came that day. And she was a mama, and she was good. She was great. She took care of Ruthie. They got Ruthie in the incubator. They got ready for flight. They got all of everything they needed to get done. At this point, Tiffany had still not seen Ruthie. This is probably 2.5 hours after we initially went to the OR. So when it got time to go get on the helicopter to fly to Greenville, they brought Ruthie around to Tiffany and brought her in the room. And our first family photo was taken by the flight nurse from the back side of an incubator looking through, and you could see Ruthie, and she was intubated, and she was on her ventilator, and then you could see me and Tiffany on the other side, and that was our first family photo. And we made arrangements that she was going to Greenville. Me and my brother were going to go ahead and drive up, and I didn't want Ruthie to be by herself, and so we went to Greenville. We went to Greenville, we went to the NICU, and some of my family works in Greenville, and they were there, and I was very grateful that they were there. My dad, mom, and all of them were coming behind us, but they were already there. Some of my family actually worked in the NICU where Ruthie was. So I went back, and there was a team of doctors around Ruthie. She was still intubated. She was still on a ventilator. They started cooling her. They cooled her for 3 days to try to counteract some of the neurological damage that comes from being without oxygen, as she was due to the prolapsed cord. that was a little bit much by myself. I saw her and I just went back out to the weight room and I just sat with my family until they brought Tiffany to Greenville. And she wasn't hurting when she got there. They had got her pain free. And I knew we had a lot ahead of us, so I managed to get her to go to sleep. And I went to sleep. I was exhausted at that point. And the next day was the first time that Tiffany really clearly remembers seeing Ruthie. When we went back the next morning, I wheeled Tiffany over there in a wheelchair. And so thankfully, she was not intubated anymore. She had been extubated during the night. So Tiffany never had to see Ruthie but one time when she was intubated. And from that point forward, Ruthie steadily got better every day. Every day she got a little better till the day we came home. I can say that after I had my first meltdown, after that was over, I never had a problem again. I felt at peace about it, you know. And the prayers and the texts and the calls, and I wish I could have talked to all the people that called and checked on us and said, we're praying for you, and sent text messages, and it was amazing. Oh, it was truly amazing.
After we got to Greenville, and I actually kind of gotten where I do remember stuff, she just, every time we went to the NICU, they told us we were getting better. After 4 days, she was moved to the special care nursery, which is just a step up from the NICU. She was still being monitored. Then they started looking at her eating. She wasn't able to suck on a bottle and eat with, so we had to do a lot of feeding therapies. But she just kept getting better and kept getting better. There was no sign of anything going on. They had thought she had had a seizure, and there was no sign of any more seizures. She had one swallow study, and they said she was aspirating, and then we had a second one a week later, 7 days later, exactly, and she wasn't aspirating at all. She pulled out her own feeding tube, and we never put it back in. And after a month of being at Greenville, we came home, and now she's perfectly healthy. There's nothing, gross motor, some stuff she's having issues with, like sitting up, but she's getting it. So she's doing really good. She's a complete miracle baby.